Hey everybody, Steve Burns here. So I figured I would do a little bit of a video to kind of stave off the confusion as to what I'm designing for the warp nacelle or the warp engine for the Katinga class Cleon starship. So this is what I'm building here. So basically, Chuck, who is building Gene Davis's model, gave me creative license on this. Kind of get that up there, get out there first. And just kind of design it in the way that I thought would look pretty cool. So this is a reference that was sent to me, and then we've got other references as well. I think it's a couple of good ones that we found. This is one I think looks like it was custom modeled, but I went ahead to put in my own personal preference into this. So let's go take a look at it inside of Lightwave. Okay. So this is my 4-up view. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in the standard perspective view. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. So all the shiny parts that you're looking at are going to be solid plastic, and the idea is that behind I can see through the grids. All right, so that behind the grid it's going to be green lighting emanating through. So the grids are going to come off as being a little bit dark. And now what I did was I just color coded it, each portion, because each portion is built in a separate layer. All right, just to kind of give you an idea as to what I did. Let's bring over my layers panel for Lightwave, and I'm gonna turn each one of them off and on. You can see the little piece right about in there. I just did one. I have more pieces that's going to go into here. At least I'm planning to put in there. So there's one. So I'm going to turn that one off. Let's go to the next one. Okay, you can see the next piece of detail. Go to this one here. Actually, I want to kind of, before I actually tackle that, let's go to this big piece here. Or I tell you what, let's go to this piece here. It'll be easier. All right, so you can see they're all are being broken down. So we can see the grid pattern back there. The grid pattern is made up of two separate shapes. One is the rectangular, the linear shape, and the other one the circular shapes. I thought that made a little interesting effect, so I went ahead and placed that in there. All right, so if I turn them all back on, we put them all together, this is what we're getting so far. What I would like to do is add a little more detail, especially inside here and around the sides here. The corners here look pretty naked, so I wanted to kind of maybe build something in there, some little doodads or greebles or something. I'll pull something out and just populate those areas so it doesn't look too bare. I suppose with this particular ship, and I'm going to go back and take a look at the one of these views. I guess I shouldn't get too crazy, as some of the original looking stuff isn't really all that detailed, to be quite honest. And even with this version here, right? So I might include some of these symbolisms in there, but again, I was kind of I was given some creative license on this. As you can see back here, from the paneling, they have a lot more detail applied as in here. Okay, so all right, let's go back over to Lightwave and take a look at it again. So there, it gives you a good idea where I am at this point. Let's go ahead and close out that layers panel. I'm kind of pull it to the side here. You can see that each one is layered in different heights to give it some dimension. I think it adds a lot more interest, little subtle, little subtleties in there in terms of height, so that it just gives it that sense of volume, that everything is built separately and each component is doing something, but each one is going to be on a separate layer depth. Okay, so well, what do you guys think? Love to hear feedback when this is approved by Gene. And Chuck, of course. Chuck is the man in charge. Actually, he's the model builder. Chuck Brooks. When Chuck Brooks gives me the go ahead, then I will print this out with the Creality CR10S, I should say, and it will be high res. So I'll probably use a much a much smaller nozzle for this, which means it's going to take a long time to print. But it will give me the detail that I want. So this will probably be like a 24-hour print just for 2 of these. Maybe more. Technically more. Maybe 2 days. So I really want to get the detail on this thing just right. Okay, so that's it. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Steve Burns signing off.